Assalamu alaikum, Jum'ah Mubarakah, blessed Friday to all of you. So I've got a really beautiful story for you today, and I think you're really gonna like it. And this one actually takes place a little bit more recently. It's told by a prince in Saudi Arabia. So this is how the story goes. One of the years the prince was at Hajj. It was middle of the night one night, and he decided he wanted to just go for a walk, get some fresh air. So he left his guards at the camp and he took his cell phone and he just decided to kind of go out, walk by himself. And so he ended up in this sort of remote area and he comes across this old man. And the old man looks at him and he goes, "Are you the guy that's here to give me the meat?" And the prince is looking at him and he's like, What are you talking about? What meat?" And the old man's like, "Well, I'm hungry and I've been craving meat. So I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send me meat. So are you the guy who's bringing me meat?" And the prince is looking at him and he's like, "It's the middle of the night. We're in the middle of nowhere. Everyone's asleep. Like, where do you think someone's going to bring you meat?" And the old man's like, "Well, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since Asr and I really want meat." And so the prince feels so sorry for him. So he's like, okay. So he picks up his phone, he calls his guards and he says, "Hey, can you guys meet me at this location? Bring some meat with you." So they bring the meat. The old man starts eating. He's very happy. And he has his fill. And then they had some meat left over. So he tells the prince, "Hey, do you want some?" Prince is like, "No, thank you. I'm good. Thanks." And he's like, "All right." So old man sits back and then he makes dua. He goes, "Ya Allah, I really want some tea, some shay. And Ya Allah, you know I like my shay with na'na, which is mint." He goes, "You know I can't drink my tea without mint, Ya Allah. So please send me some shay bin na'na, some tea with mint." And the prince is looking at this guy and he's like, "No way, come on. Like that's crazy. Like he's asking for tea right now." And they're sitting there and the prince is like, "I'm going to see what happens." And then eventually a group passes by and the old man stops them and says, "Hey, I have some extra meat. Do you guys want some?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure. Thank you so much." So they take the meat and they go sit far away and they eat. And then a little while later, one of them comes over with a cup of tea in his hands. He goes to the old man. He goes, "Do you want some tea?" And the man looks at it. He goes, "Is there nana in it? Is there mint in it?" And the guy's like, "No, but we have mint." He says, "Yeah, I'd like with some mint and get some for my friend too," which is the prince. And so the prince is looking at this and he's like, "No way, this is wild. Like, how is this happening?" They drink their tea. And then the old man finishes his tea. He goes, "Ya Allah, I'm so tired. I got a long day ahead of me, Ya Allah, but you know I can't just sleep on the ground. I need a pillow. I can't fall asleep without a pillow. So please, Ya Allah, send me a pillow." Eventually, a group passes by. They decide to settle camp next to where the old man is at. And then as they're getting their stuff out, the old man sees that they have a pillow. He goes, "Hey, can I use your pillow?" They're like, "Sure, here you go." So the prince is like, "Okay, I gotta know what you're like. What's your deal? Like, this is. I've never seen this before. Like, what's your situation?" And he wants to talk to him. And the old man's like, "Listen, I'm really tired. I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. Like, please leave before I make dua against you." And the guy's like, "Oh, I don't want you doing that." And he said, "Clearly, your dua is answered very quickly. So I'm gonna leave, but I want to come back and find you tomorrow." Old man's like, "Sure." So the prince goes back to his camp. And at his campsite, there's a very well-known sheikh there. So he tells the sheikh this story and he goes, "You won't believe what happened to me, like this and this and this." And the sheikh's like, "I got to meet this guy." He's like, "Yeah, come with me tomorrow and you can meet him." So they come back the next day, they find the old man and they're asking the old man, they're like, "Who are you? Like, what's your deal?" And the old man's like, "I'm a servant of Allah." And they're like, "Okay, like that's, yeah, but like, there's something special about him." So they're like, "You know what? We would love to host you for the rest of your Hajj. Like, why don't you come with us? We'll accommodate you. We'll take care of you." And the old man's like, "Yeah, thanks for the offer, but like, I'm good. I want to do Hajj my way." So the prince is like, "Okay, at the very least, like, take my phone number. Like, this is my direct cell phone. Like, if you ever need anything, call me." And the old man looks at him. He goes, "Why would I call you?" And he said, "Do you know who we are?" And the old man's like, "Yeah, you're servants of Allah, just like me." And the prince is like, "No, but do you know who we are? Like, these are prominent figures in Saudi society." And the old man's like, "Yeah, you're servants of Allah just like me." And he says, "So why would I ask anything of you when I have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I can ask him for whatever I want." Such a good answer. And so the prince is like, "Okay, fine. At the very least, can you please make dua for us?" And he's like, "Why don't you make dua for yourself?" And he goes, "Because your dua is answered. Like, can you please make dua for us?" And he said, "Well, why don't you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then your dua can be answered too." Just such sweet, simple, beautiful answers. And so eventually, they're just like, "Okay, this guy's something else." The old man says, "Ya Allah, I'm really tired and I don't want to walk anymore. Like, can you please send me a car or something to take me?" Eventually, some mode of transportation comes along and picks up the old man. And so the sheikh looks at the prince and he goes, "SubhanAllah, like, we might be these high-ranking officials here on earth, but that man, He's got a higher level with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's got a higher ranking in the skies. So this is just a very beautiful story that talks about so many different things. Of course, it talks about the power of dua and how all of us have this direct connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the closer we get to Allah, the more access we have. We can have all of our dua answered. And this man teaches us tawakkul, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and having this yaqeen. Like, he's sitting there in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the night. It looks impossible that he would get meat, that he would get shay with na'na', tea and a pillow. And he's asking for all these things with no doubt, no hesitation. He believes and he knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it happen. And so when we have this yaqeen, this certainty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will move mountains for you. He will move people to bring you the thing you need. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of everything. And so when we make dua, we have to make it with this 100% certainty that it's going to be answered, because Allah answers every single dua. And we have to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do the impossible, because He can. We are so limited by our own perception of this world that we're like, it's impossible. It can't happen. No, it can happen. Don't believe anything's impossible. And then the other thing that this man teaches us is we are all servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He saw no difference between himself and the prince and the sheikh, even though these people are such high-ranking individuals in society. We're all servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody is better than the other because of our money or because of our power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look at us that way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at our hearts, looks at our intentions, looks at our deeds. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees us. And there's a good chance that this man, this very simple man that we don't even know the name of, is so much more high ranking with Allah than some of the most prominent people in society. So subhanAllah, always keep that in mind. Always stay humble, never be arrogant, and always recognize that your place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be so special if you put your heart in the right place. So I hope that this was motivational and moving for you and inspirational and gets you excited about making dua and trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And please don't forget the link below so you can share your stories anonymously with us, and we can share them here on the channel and provide even more inspiration to everyone. And inshallah, I will see you next Friday.